everyone, I thought it would be good fun to do some autumn pictures with you. Now this is the autumn harvest book that I was sent recently, and I did do this piece. I did a little bit of it, I think the pears and one of the pumpkins on a video, and then I did another video where I finished the little cornucopia off. But I thought we'd choose something different to do. I think even if you don't have this book, doing some autumn colouring is great fun, and it's a little bit of practice for you on how to colour different autumn things. Now I'm having a look at the picture. We've got now pumpkin pie is not something we eat in the UK, so I'm not really sure what colour to do it, so I have to find out. So I thought I wouldn't do that today. Well, I didn't know, but I thought I might do sunflower, grapes, leaves, something here. I'm not sure how much of it I'm going to do. I'm just gonna, ouch, have a go. Sorry, just catching my hand between my chair and the bookcase. Right, I'm going to start with a little sunflower. I've got my Polychromos pencils because I did most of this bit with the Polychromos, and my friend who gave me the book, who is most likely to be colouring along, does use her Polychromos predominantly, so I thought it'd be nice for her. So we're going to start with the walnut brown. Just do the very centre of the sunflower here. We're just going to keep it really simple and just fill that in, just block it in with a nice section of walnut brown. And then we're going to do these seeds higher up in a slightly lighter colour, just so they look a little bit different. So this is the nougat, which I'm going to use for these. Now we do have these sorts of markings on here to try and sort of identify that we've got different seeds, not just one bit, but I'm not going to worry about that. What I'm going to do is just sharpen my pencil a little bit, and I'm just going to try and add a little bit of shape to this by making it a bit darker on this outside. So I'm actually sort of putting a line all around the outside. I'm going to do the same on the inside, like that. And then on the central bit, which I've coloured in a slightly lighter brown, I'm actually going to yellow it up slightly with the green gold. Okay, so here's our green gold, and I'm just going to go over it here. Now it's not going to end up looking yellow, but because it's brown, but it just brighten it a little bit, and it'll make it look like it stands out from that centre part, hopefully. What I'm going to do is get my dark sepia and just put a tiny bit more. Being fussy now. Dark sepia on the inside bit, just on the very edge all the way around, and it should help that to look slightly more lifted up. Now let's do our flower itself. Now sunflowers don't always come in exactly the same colour. I think what I'm going to do, I have done a sunflower picture quite recently for you, and I'm not sure whether it will come out before or after this. I'm going to do this one slightly differently, so I'm going to use my dark cadmium yellow to start with, which is a sort of orangey yellow, and use that on the base of all of our petals on this initial loop round. So not these, just the ones that are near to the centre. And I'm going to try to fade it up the petal a little bit. Okay, nice easy bit to do. Now these bits I'm going to do as well, just make them dark, because I think they would be. Like that. And then these I'm going to make even darker. So I'm going to do almost the whole bit dark in this slightly darker colour. We're going to go lighter in a minute. There we go. Now I'm going to go down a couple of shades of yellow. So this is the light chrome yellow that I'm going to use. It's hard to see. I'm going to sharpen it though, so I make sure I've got a vibrancy to it, or an intensity. And we're going to go over what we've done and just take it to the tip, and you can see it's paler. I'm going to do it on all of them. Now I want to get quite a few layers down. I want it to look quite intensely yellow. I've got some sunflowers in my garden. They're really thin and spindly, and I got the seeds with some fresh flowers, and so I just planted them in 2 different pots of different sizes, about half and half. And the smaller pot, the sunflowers are shorter than the other one, and in the larger pot the sunflowers have got I'm just trying to decide what colour to do around the edge. I think I'm going to use the green gold. I don't know why. Where is the name? There. Going to try this. In the larger pot, 3 of them look like they've got buds on. So we'll see. I've never had luck with sunflowers before. They normally just get eaten by slugs. But I haven't seen any signs of slugs. And I wonder whether it's because the weather's cooler this summer or something. I don't really sure why. Maybe it hasn't been a good year for them. I haven't heard anything about it in the news. I've heard that it's been a very poor year for wasps, the bees, because it's been cooler weather. But not anything about slugs and snails. So I'm not sure. I think most gardeners would be quite happy there's not been many slugs. So I think my sister said she has slugs eating some of her plants. I'm not sure. There we go. There's our sunflower. Now, should we have a go at autumnal leaf? This leaf down here. Now, you can do all sorts of colours for leaves. Now, what I tend to do normally is do a colour that runs through the leaf. So I'll show you. So let's start with our burnt sienna. And I might say put a bit of burnt sienna here at the bottom, and then up here, and then fade it down a little bit. Like that, and then maybe fade it into a terracotta, like this. Now, what I'm doing is wrong, because if you look carefully at autumn leaves, I haven't actually seen any yet this year. I'm going to use the orange glaze for a tip. They don't transition gently like this. They have sections of colour. So this is really unrealistic. But I think the gentle transition, the smoothness of it, I think is appealing to the eye, even though it's an unrealistic colour. So, you know, it's actually like, if you look at the leaves, they've got a line around the outside. So with this one, we're going to do it really differently. That line around the outside, I'm going to grab, what's this colour? Van Dyke brown, I thought it was. So sharpen your Van Dyke brown, or a darkish brown. And then we'll do the stem. And then what we'll do with this one is we'll just go around this edge with the brown. It's not, I don't know if it's the right type of colour brown really, to make it look as if this might be this sort of brown changing colour bit of our leaf. There. A bit confused as to what's going on down there. And then the centre bit might still be green. So this is a sort of alternative way you can do it. But it's always a good idea to just have a look at your leaves that are around you. I haven't got all my pencils here. This is permanent green olive. I'm in the middle of a picture next door. I'm going to do this in the middle and then fade it like that. Yeah, I'm in the middle of a picture next door using my Polychromos, so I've left the pencils that I was using next door, but it's not, it's a big set, and it's mainly my reds and one green that I was using next door. So we've done that. And then on this edge we could use a I know, we use a burnt ochre and sort of scumble it into that green a bit. Now I'm sure these are grapes, but I guess grapes are harvested in the autumn, but I don't really know anything about them. I'm trying to think what colour we would do them, because grapes come in, the green grapes, they're quite boring to colour, to be honest. The black grapes are very purpley. You've got your sort of reddish ones, which are the ones I tend to eat. I think I'm going to go for purple violet to start with. Now we've got all these dots here where there's shine on our grapes. I'm going to colour over it and then go over them in white pen after. I think it's going to be so much easier. But if you struggle with that, don't have a white pen, or the pencil you're using don't work with white pen very well, then you can leave the white gaps, but it's going to take a lot longer to colour them in. Right, there's our basic layer. Now we need our mauve nice and sharp. We need to go around each one. So that one is quite near the back. This, I don't know if this is the right colour. Not really purple, violet, are they? Pretty though. So the idea is to try and get a darker layer around the edge. They look more like blueberries. And then less towards the middle. And just go all the way around. It's very cloudy today. Not sure whether to go out later or not. I feel like I ought to drag my son out for a walk, but he's not really in the mood. Nor am I, to be honest. We'll see what the weather's doing later. I'm trying to plan what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. I am just not sure at all. I may have to research what pumpkin pie looks like. We just don't have it here. I'm seeing the tinned pumpkin stuff in some shops, and I guess we get American candies and things like that as well. I sort of guess it's for people who are from America or have American families, that sort of thing. It's just not something people cook, because we don't do Thanksgiving here. We don't have that sort of thing. We don't do Halloween in such a big way. It's growing only because the shops want to make money out of it, I think. You know, so they sell loads of stuff. That, you know, the Halloween themed sweets and the buckets and the costumes, and started doing decorations and all sorts of things in a Halloween theme. And some people really like it. I've never liked it. It's just, you know, we just never did it. I used to be scared as a child. Often on kids' TV shows they would do something really scary on Halloween and I would really hate it. And yeah, I'd get freaked by it. And I don't like being scared. And I never went we never got trick-or-treaters coming round when I was little. We used to get penny for the guy, which is Guy Fawkes night, which is something you don't do in America. On the 5th of November, we remember the night that the parliamentarians, I think, they were trying to blow up Parliament to kill the king, I think, James. But I think that's the story. I used to learn it every year at primary school, and because the king was saved, he wanted it to be a sort of celebration day, and it used to be called, oh, I can't remember. It used to have a name for it. I looked it up the other day, I can't remember it now. And in the town we lived, they would sometimes roll barrels of burning tar. In the town where we lived, they used to roll them down the high street, and the high street's really steep, so it would probably be quite the spectacle, although quite you wouldn't want to get in the way. In some towns they still do the tar barrel thing, they carry them through the streets as a sort of memory of the time, but people just tend to have fireworks and bonfires instead. This is black. I'm going to go around just on the edges of some of them where we think there might be some shadows underneath. There's often firework displays and things, but a lot of people buy their own fireworks and do them, and they'll be going all night long, and then, well, not all night long, but you know, all evening, and then sometimes places like pubs or something like that, there might be organised displays, and they might not be here in our town. The organised display is always on the Monday before the 5th of November, because it's half term. They use a school playing field and the school aren't there, so they can get a fun fair in and set it all up and everything when the school aren't there, and then get rid of it all before school goes back. Now we have the green. I tend to like using earth green yellowish for grape leaves. I was thinking they're not too dark. I'm just going to put some of this over the whole thing, and I'm not going to worry about different shades. I'm just going to look at it first. Yeah, so they have a fun fair and the fireworks, and then some other places do that too. And then I know my boys' old secondary school used to do a display as well, but that was always on a school night, so I never used to let them go. It was too late at night. This is permanent green olive. I don't know how schools expect kids to get to school the next day when they've run an event on an evening. It's stupid. I think, and my sister's like, well, most kids stay up later, and I'm like, that's fine, but we lived quite far away, so we had to be up early and get the bus at early-ish in the morning. You know, I guess the kids roll out of bed, get dressed and take their breakfast to the bus stop, but we didn't do that. Now, how are we doing? We might just do this little leaf here. What sort of colour? What should we try? Something a bit different. Let's try some Indian red, see if that works as a autumnal colour. I remember my neighbours used to have gorgeous trees in their garden, well, at the end of the road. They used to have sort of cherries on them, and then when the leaves fell, it was so beautiful. They were sort of reds and yellows and greens all in the same leaf. This is brown ochre in sort of splotchy patches, and they just looked super stunning. I'm going to put a bit of green on the end there. I think maybe this green, which is quite a browny green. This is the olive green yellowish. I'll put that in there. Now you may have noticed that I'm not doing any of the leaves the same. The idea is to give you some different colour combo ideas for your autumn colouring, and also makes it more interesting, I think. So there is our little bunch of things. I'm going to stop here As I said, I'm going to do a bit of research into what pumpkin pie looks like. I don't know if the inside is the pumpkin or the topping, or, you know, is that cream? I assume so. You know, what's this bit and what's this bit? I don't know. So I'm going to do some research and find out, and I will do that for you at some point. I'm not saying, oh, white. We need to do our white on our grapes. This is my Jelly Roll 8. I'm just going to fill in the white patches that are marked on there while I natter at the end. Yeah, I don't know if this video is going to come straight after. It's not going to be like a little series. It's just going to be little autumn bits and bobs. And I do have an autumn playlist, so if you want autumn ideas, there are lots of different sort of bits and pieces that I've done that are autumnal themed, that you can go and look at. You might not quite think it's autumn yet. If you're in Australia, it absolutely isn't. It's spring. I have spring too, but there we go. That's better. So there's our little section done. That's quite fun doing autumn. I do enjoy it. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have a really super day and happy colouring.